All right, hello. My name is Jaime. I am Jaime the Critic, if you will. Let me just make sure that's facing the directest, most straight, honest way. And now it's going to be rocking a little bit, so excuse that. All right, so I do not have any plan for what I'm going to talk about. I just wanted to throw this on, try to make sure I do an attempt at recording anything. I right now, as I stare at this camera, I am drawing a blank about what I want to say exactly. I do have time to fill this out a little bit more, but I'm trying to balance out my life and my time between my commitments, my responsibilities, and my wants and needs as a human being and as a man, Um, it's been a tricky balance since I've been down here in OC for about 2 months. I'm also dealing with an ant issue that I straight up just need to actually physically. That's a part of the responsibilities, though. But it's been difficult to find out what balance really means. Um, but there has been one thing that I feel like I want to talk about, and that's perspective. I have been gifted with the ability to use perspective to enhance my own personal life in a lot of major and important ways. And the major and important ways is really more mental than it is a physical action. But the mental actions I take, implement, and implement, they affect my physical actions in every way and in every regard. So without perception and my ability to use as much of it as I can, and for it to drastically change how I look at things, I would not be able to do nearly as many things as I do in a day. Um, Sorry, I'm sweaty and I'm my legs have ants all over them and shit, and I'm just trying to get by, um, which I guess is an important thing to look at and view in that way too. You know, it's even simple things like that where I have been dealing with this ant issue in my house and all my cats and around my room and crawling all over me at night, and my cats are doing shit right now. Hold on. They've also been driving my cats up a wall, and even now I have to keep my eye on them because they're a little bit more agitated than normal. Just because of how little I see them as usually as I do. The heat has been getting just more intense, and their food every now and then, and everywhere they walk around is covered by ants. So they're just kind of in this environment where they're just getting pissed off more often than not. But at least I have them. At least I show them love. At least I care for them as much as I do. At least I have food to give them. At least I can afford to keep them alive. At least I can afford having water for them, trying to put on the fan, trying to see them as more often than not. At least I have the room and time that I can do more rather than less. Um, I can't even focus because I have to keep my eye on them right now. Oh my god. Wow. So I took my eyes off my cats for like 2 minutes so I can try to record any of this, and apparently they just damn near fell out the window. So I'm gonna have to take time to double check everything right now. All right. So I learned that if I want to record this at all, and the only times I have it are in between work where I have 1 hour or less, I need to just try to keep them in my room or keep the windows and everything closed, meaning I'm going to be dying of the heat and sweltering a bit more. So that's cool. I might leave this in, I might not, but I don't know. Maybe it enhances what I'm trying to talk about, and I could just get more frustrated and get more annoyed and get more upset and look at everything and just the way that it affects me negatively. And let's talk about it. It pisses me off that my cats can't help but go onto things, climb onto things they're not supposed to, and nearly fall, hurt themselves, get lost because of it, and then thus lose them forever because of a 2 second interval where I just wanted to try and do something for myself. Um, it's a bit upsetting that the only time I really get to do this by myself is when I'm in between work at times, and the times that I don't have work in the afternoon. I have something else to fill that time, which is very important to me, and there is no more time besides that. At times where I get a day to I do get the afternoon to myself, I will have been drawn out. I pass out just because I'm physically tired and I can't help myself but stay awake, and I don't want to drown myself in more coffee and caffeine. So by trying to stay at least somewhat healthier, I end up having less energy overall, and it kind of feels like there is no path forward other than to just exist and allow these days to pass me by. And it is a bit frustrating. I have to check on them again. All right, I'm back again. Um, it is frustrating. It's a bit upsetting. Just right now, with how busy I am, there was another opportunity that came by my way, And in order for me to do that opportunity, I would have had to not have as many responsibilities as I do with work and outside commitments. And if I were to just push things away, put things at risk, and just go for that opportunity, it would be fun and it would be cool. And who knows what that could bring out for me. But right now, I have to make the decision to say I will pass on this opportunity because of the things I have going on already. Um, it feels like I am making a strong decision and it potentially could be a wrong one, but it feels like I'm following my heart the best way I can. So I think I am making the best decision I could right now. And this is the perspective of me just looking at everything, besides the ending part where I see I can't help myself but find a positive way to look at it at the end of the day. But just looking at everything as it just unfolded right before me, I could just take all of the things I've seen and all the things I've felt and just walk around and live that in my brain constantly. That is happening. I'm just in this stuck mode. I'm stuck. I'm stuck. I'm stuck. There's nothing I can do. The opportunities I have to pass them by. The things that come my way, I might not be able to have any time for. I don't have enough time for this. I have time for that, but I've just wasted it because I wanted to take care of myself. um, I could get stuck and allow that tsunami wave of bad feelings that are real and honestly true. I could just go into that wave and allow me to become that wave. And that tidal wave is something that I can't even stop if I let myself join that wave continually. But the gift of perspective is that I have the option to make an adjustment, pivot my movements, and view things in a different way that is still fundamentally true. At the end of the day, I have responsibilities because I have work that I want to do. I have goals, I have dreams, I have aspirations. I have things that I want to do, and I am actively pursuing all of them the best that I can while maintaining my health, well being, and my relationship with as many people as I can positively. So, I can either view everything as a negative of that I am not doing enough or appreciate how much I am doing. I'm still working. I have two jobs. I'm paying my bills and now making more money than I could have if I were to just take opportunities where I make no money. And it allows me to progress towards my other goal of moving. It allows me to progress my goal of having more free time in the future. Um, but that means I just don't get those that gratifying feeling now. Um, and it is a bit upsetting, but I need to view it from the other way, where even if I am not doing enough in some regards, I'm doing something in others. I'm trying my best for these other reasons. I'm trying my best in these other ways. I am still out. I'm trying is the main thing. You know, you can look at your life and view it as someone who has accomplished very little to nothing, or you can view it as a guy who has tried their hardest. And at least they did something with their attempts rather than people who have done nothing with their lives and have never tried for anything because they have no goals or aspirations. It's not good to compare and contrast your life to that of other people, but when you do it and you try to just claim the more positive angles of it, you allow yourself to feel more power, whereas you do not have any. You know, I truly have power and I don't. I have both sides of the coin within my hand because I have the coin within my hand. So I have both sides. I don't have to stay looking at one side as I walk around forever. That burnt side that has nothing but an indistinguishable mark upon it that makes it look ugly and bad. I can choose to look at the other side that gives me pleasure, joy, and comfort because I found a coin and I have something where I did not have before. I have something. I can complain about the cats, but I have two cats that are amazing, wonderful creatures that give me joy and pleasure every single day of my life. Pleasure in that sentence is a bit odd, but either way, um, they give me happiness, and I am accomplishing the goal of maintaining their lives, maintaining their health, maintaining their comfort as best as I can. They still have more than not. I can look at the ants in the room, but I can look at them as ants in a room or look at them as dangers to my animals. They're just ants in the room, you know? So it's not the end of the world if they get into the food every once in a while, so long as I do the work to clean out that food quickly before it becomes a real bad issue and actively do something to stop them. I'm putting traps out. I'm putting things out. I've had my bowls covered in water and vinegar. I'm putting vinegar all over the place and trying to deter them to some avail. Um, but I'm taking precautions and I'm doing the steps as I learn information to do something about it. So I can either have the perspective of I have a problem and I'm stuck dealing with this problem, or I have the opportunity to deal with the problem and here's what I've done because of that problem. That problem is still ongoing, but I am actively still doing my part and trying to do something about it. You know, is there more that I could be doing? Sure, but that's going to elevate things to an unnecessary degree that I'm going beyond my range of power and interfering into the lives of other people. So I'm doing what I can without interacting and forcibly changing the dynamics between the relationships of other people. It'd be messy to talk about it exactly verbatim, but I'm doing what I can while maintaining overall positivity in my ecosystem and health within it. There's nothing you can do. Sometimes a tumor is just a tumor, and there's no good way to look at it other than it's a tumor. But at least I have a life. At least I've lived a life. At least I still have my life today. In this moment, I get to know that even if I have this bad thing in my heart and in my soul, I still have a soul. I still have a heart. I'm still given the gift of getting to wake up tomorrow if that tomorrow gets to come. I get the gift of getting to be alive now. I get the gift of being able to look outside my window and see trees and nature and things and objects of beauty rather than utter devastation and chaos. I have the gift of even getting to experience chaos because that means one day I will get to experience beauty in life. So when I talk about perspective, that's a bit closer to what I actually mean and what I'm trying to get at. That every second and every moment of my life is a gift. So if I start looking at things in a negative light, I need to shift my perspective and reiterate things in a way that reminds me you still are alive. And that's still an opportunity. And you having any opportunity is options. You having options is freedom. You have the freedom to choose where you go with these options. I still get to choose what I do with my life, and I'm still choosing to live this exact way that I do. I'm still choosing to behave the way that I behave because I think this is the best course of action with the gift and tools I was given. Do I know if that's ultimately the right thing or the wrong thing? I don't. But there might never come a day where I get to find out. There might come a day where everyone else gets to find out, but I don't because I'll be dead. But at least I know today, with the tools in my hand and the problem that is before me, I am taking the actions that I believe are going to help. And I think that's what I need to tell myself when I'm getting too caught up in if I'm doing enough or not. If the way I'm choosing to do things is the right course of action or not. I don't have all the power in the world. Other things do. I do not have any power beyond what I am given in my space, monetarily, physically, spiritually, and mentally. So I might as well just do the most that I can with these powers that I'm given and do the best that I'm able to. I don't get a space where I get no noise and I get to have complete radio silence. I have these cats that are going to be crying in the middle of my videos. There's nothing you can do about it, and there's really nothing that I can do about it, because at least now I get to look at this beauty and appreciate her rather than not. So if you are struggling with something and you have the perspective of only negativity, I would implore you to just try to look at things as positively as you can, but more in the way that what are you doing with the opportunity you have before you? What are you doing with the life you have right now? What are you doing with both of your really wasn't expecting that I would have to do it this way again in 2 times for 2 different videos, but my microphone died and it either died or disconnected, so that's an issue we'll have to figure out a different day. However, I ain't got no more time. My phone is also on low battery life and I need it for the rest of the day, so me using it for even recording is not the most helpful to that problem. I look so pasty like this. Wow, this front camera sucks. Anyways, I wasn't able to fully finish that the way I wanted to, but maybe that's the way it's supposed to go. I can at least do this. I wish you all the best. I just wish you view your life as an empty canvas and that you have tools and that's about it. Choose what you do with these tools and just try to make the canvas the way you want, and make the mistake because you can just go back and go over your work and fix it later. So if I'm going to end this, I'm going to try to end it in my own terms at least. Live a good life. Choose to be good. Choose goodness over not goodness. And as best as you can, because it's only going to help you out more. But I'm not here to berate or over talk, I guess. I talked as much as I can and as much as I'm able to, so I got to charge my phone now and stop talking. So everyone be well. I wish you nothing but the best and positivity and everything. Goodbye.